Hey, this is Soomin Kim, your Austin real estate agent, and I am sitting here in the middle of future development in one of the nation's fastest growing cities. I want to tell you what it's like to live and move into a pioneering and developing city when not everything is there yet, but everything is coming. Let me give you an idea of what to expect when you come and live in the North Austin suburbs of Leander, Liberty Hill, and parts of Georgetown. Let's get it. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I am standing here in the middle of one of the largest commercial mixed-use developments in one of the nation's fastest growing cities, Leander, Texas. You know, if you're returning back to my channel, welcome back. If you're brand new to my channel, this is what I do. I'm a real estate agent here in the Austin and surrounding suburbs and the expansion of all cities of Austin, including the north suburbs, and that's where I'm at right now. Now, one of the things I get more than anything when clients reach out to me is, what can I expect there if I relocate there, when I live there? What's going on? I don't see much on Google Maps. Where's the development? I'm so used to areas where everything's already developed. So what's it like to live there? Now, let me give you an idea of what it's going to be like when you're living in one of the nation's fastest growing cities, where more and more people are moving into this county, several hundred every day. You will never see the city the same way twice. We're in the middle of it right now, and let me dive into what to expect when you move into an up and coming and transitioning and developing suburb, when you're relocating from an area where that wasn't something that you're used to, that everything was already there. This is what it's like to live in a city, in an area, and what to expect when you visit when the area is developing. Let's go. All right, let's start it off immediately with Leander Northline. Now, this is the big, ambitious mixed-use development that is really cemented into the vision of Leander about 5 years ago. And since then, it's been somewhat delayed, but I want to get you a real good look at what Northline Leander currently is and a bit about what to expect. Now, this is right off Northline Leander's website, but that green arrow represents where I'm driving in. Now, this video and all things I'm going to do on this video is going to be quite raw. I want to give you a true point of view of what it looks like and what you can expect as you're driving through here. But take a look at this. I mean, this is going to be, essentially a 16-acre retail project. It's going to really start showing ground here in the middle of this year. But St. John Properties has already expected to break ground on a 120,000 square foot Class A office building, which is going to also have retail on the ground floor. But some of the tenants, you're going to find grocers, a ton of different restaurants, mixed and fast casual, fitness, other service oriented, retail, shopping. The project's also going to have an outdoor plaza, walking path connecting the rest of Northline, medical office projects all around as well. But you're already seeing some of the rentals as well as the townhomes already there. But look right there, this is 183. You can see all that construction, and it's really culminating to be something that's going to be very visible off of the highway. That is the extension of 183 that we'll talk about later. But take a look right now. I know you see some dried, hibernating vegetation and just empty land, but you can already see some of those pinnacle flags out there as a grand entrance to what is going to be an incredible, very ambitious, but really the central hub for all things Leander. If you've seen what's happened with North Austin and Domain, this is somewhat of probably a mimic of that. All right, now I'm heading north on 183 Service Road, and I want to show you the extension of the 183 toll. Originally, this would drop you off kind of in the middle, right in front of the Bryson community, in the middle of Leander. This has been extended very ambitiously up to 6+ miles into Liberty Hill. This is really a bell sound to give an idea that they're pulling the suburbs into those that are working downtown or North Austin. And so this is going to obviously create tremendous flow, but this was not existent. None of this was existent 2 years ago. And here we are with it almost complete. No one's driven on it, but I just got recent word today that this looks like it's going to be active very soon. And ironically enough, as I was editing this came in the mail to Community Impact, which talks to all things development locally here in the 183 is being confirmed once again that it is opening up in 2025. So when you look at this map, when we talk about the Leander, Liberty Hill, Georgetown suburbs, I want 3 points of interest that I really want to focus on. That's going to be 183, and that includes a highway that's being extended as well as the toll and the surface side roads of that. So 183 running up and down. Now, the next road, which is not a highway, but it's a main road, that's Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan is important because it does connect to West Palmer, which connects to the Apple campus. But remember 183, Ronald Reagan, and then this road, State Highway 29, which kind of connects everything together from Liberty Hill, Leander, and even Georgetown. So 183, Ronald Reagan, and State Highway 29. Now, I thought this was interesting. This is the local Leander post office. All of that green represents the post office having also to be extended. One of the growing pains of a growing area is that this post office, in its exception, probably never thought the city was going to grow to that. You can see all that black area. That is also the extension of the local post office. I thought that was funny, but I thought it proved the point. All right, now this is a great example of what you're going to see. You're going to see some empty spots like this, but beyond the brush, beyond the trees, you're going to see a little bit of construction, some construction being done. And that, when you see empty space like that, keep in mind it's empty now, but very shortly that's going to all be commercial. And that's something you're just going to get used to. You're going to see empty spots that are going to turn to commercial, and to see a lot of these, a lot of retail sites going up. What was once empty maybe a few months ago, maybe a year ago, are now being interjected with this development. So get ready for it. All right, here you can see the main road is right over here. And you can see this is just a perfect example of the many duplicate retail sites that are coming in. Here we can see that there's retailer and vendors starting to move into these commercial sites. It looks like we have an Einstein Brothers Bagels over there along with the Smoothie King. Let me see if I can get you a better view of that. All right, here we are with a more steady view of what I'm trying to show you. But as I mentioned, Einstein Brothers Bagels right there, Smoothie King going in, multiple different retail sites or retail locations. Now, I want to mention that, look, just a few months ago, this was all dirt. So for these to come up as quickly as they did, it's incredible. And now I'm just driving across to another duplicate section. You can see even down there, there's a third duplicate section, and that's already next to a Dairy Queen, a Chipotle, and a Whataburger that was placed I think just a few years ago. And as we drive into the third section, there's a couple retail shops going in, or eateries, I should say. And that first one I'm actually really excited about. That's going to be, it's a Korean-owned, pretty viral business. I'm actually surprised to see it. I'm very pleasantly surprised to see it. And that's going to be 85 Degree Bakery is going to be going in there. Incredible pastries, coffee, and then at the end, as you just saw in the clip before, that's Kava, which is a very popular eatery. But friends, off every main road, empty space is getting filled up. Many of you are relocating from areas where this is already there, but this is a pioneering area, and that's what it feels like. All right, this is New Hope Crossing. This is more new commercial right off of West New Hope Drive, headed to 1431. And again, these were all empty not long ago, and now they are being filled in with tenants. I do appreciate the architecture on some of these commercial. I'm now off of Crystal Falls Parkway, and this is an interesting one. As I saw some development happening, I began to see some of the advertising that had been being done on Leander Union, and this is what the space is going to be. I'm just going to read right off the website because it's so much more than the development, but there's a theme behind it. But ultimately for me, they are investing in knowing what the area is going to become. But in the rhythm of daily life, this is your third space, the place between home and work where connections flourish and the community thrives. Thoughtfully designed for modern life, our Leander development is where you can sip morning coffee, collaborate on your next big idea, shop local treasures, or share an evening drink with friends. More than a space, it's a shared experience, a hub for creativity and connection, and the moments that matter. Here, life happens naturally and together, and you can see here, this is just another great example of commercial development, places for lifestyle and living, retail, coffee, coming together in an area that's being heavily invested in. So this is going to be interesting right off Crystal Falls Parkway. This is going to be the upcoming Leander Union. You saw dirt, and it's not too long you'll see buildings. All right, Behind me is, you can see right here, is a major community here in Leander. This is Bryson. Now, before Bryson even started on their first one phase, they had a master planning of this community to also include eventually commercial sites. So here we are, here's the community entrance, and now being finished up, we have commercial sites, also sometimes known as pad sites, but retail locations that have been planned into the vision of this community before it even broke ground. So you're going to be seeing more of this. It's a great attribute. Thinking about living in a community and having, whether it's a coffee shop up here, another eatery, whether it's somewhere to get your hair cut, but that's going to be the commercial site that is in front of the Bryson community. I don't know who the retail spaces belong to yet, but this is a perfect example of master plan community retail sites in the front entrance. I think these are incredibly beneficial. They're a great value proposition for a community like Bryson. So this has been completed here in front of the Bryson community. Just want to give you a little bit of better look as I drive around this entire commercial spot. I think this is such a great attribute to a community. I haven't seen one really do it better than Bryson right here. There's a couple other examples that I'll show you, but you can see there's multiple sites. I mean, ask yourself, if you live in this community, what retail sites would you like up here? Would you like a coffee shop? Would you like someplace to eat? Would you like a dessert spot? Would you like somewhere to get your hair cut? You can see right there's the entrance of Bryson, and it cuts off of 183 and or the main entrance to enter this commercial site. So I think they did a fantastic job. I know a lot of residents were asking about this, and it's actually done. Now the next thing is to see the commitments on who the retail are going to be. You know, as you can see, it's really a win-win, because when you have really a captive audience or a captive customer base, you know, like you have a residential community in front, you can see how this can be beneficial not only for the residents but the business owners here. They essentially have guaranteed customers, at least from a traffic perspective of coming in and out. And I do want to show you that. I want to pull out of here on this road, which is right off of Bryson's entrance, and just give you again a point of view, very raw look on what that looks like. And that's all right. I am off of Ronald Reagan, pulling into the Palmera Ridge community, and again, here's another example of a master plan community, and they had planned and reserved space right up front on their community for some businesses. Now this obviously looks a little bit different than Bryson's, but this was again reserved commercial. It's being used from some service-oriented businesses as well. I don't know all the details, as some spots are still filling in, but it looks like there's businesses already coming in. Again, a great attribute of some of these master plan communities that are thinking ahead and thinking to themselves, not only we're going to allow builders to come in and develop this community with homes, but you know what, let's reserve some space up front for some business that can be, again, mutually beneficial for both the residents and those that would commit to some of these locations. All right, here we are bordering Cedar Park by Leander. Again, this is right next to the HEB Center, but you can just see some of these massive open areas are in development. So what you see one day will be different tomorrow, and that's something, again, another example of a large parcel of land being developed for future use, and it's everywhere. All right, here we off now off of Whitestone, which actually converts as we turn right onto 1431. So West New Hope Drive and Whitestone essentially going into 1431. This was an important one. All that massive structure you see that is being built up right there, that's a new church. And that, again, that was all just kind of trees and an empty area. That's going to be a church. I'm going to give you a better look at that shortly. But this retail spot on the right, I do want to show you, because we are headed towards one of the most popular luxury, beautiful communities, master plan communities that really take advantage of the beginning of hill country here in Leander and West Leander, and that is Traviso. Now, Traviso, for a long time, people love it because of the topography. They love the homes there, but really there was nothing else around. They felt like it took a little while to get out of the community and even get to the nearest Whole Foods or some sort of retail. And that's starting to be remedied right now. And here we are in their first kind of commercial retail area that I just pulled into. I want to give you a better view of that. I'm going to get out of my car, kind of share with you what that looks like, as well as that church across the street. So here, this is a Shops at New Hope as I just pulled in, and right across the street we can see that beginning to build. Love to see it, but you can see it's quite a large undertaking. I believe the church is called City Reach Church, possibly, but there you have it. It's right over there, along with the signage off of 1431. And then you got this nice commercial site. It's got a Mojo Coffee, which is a popular coffee chain here locally. A couple areas to be leased. It looks like a liquor area, a UPS store, and again, there's a recently built car wash there as well. So you can see how important this is, because this is again neighboring an area that's really connecting Central Leander to West Leander to a major community of Traviso, and then on down to Jonestown and Lago Vista. So here we go for the Shops at New Hope. All right. So as I mentioned, the community of Treviso, it's such an important community, a very popular community, a very big draw for the city of Leander. So I want to do something that I believe is going to be, again, another sales sign for commercial space coming up. But I want to just give you from the Shops at New Hope, an unadulterated, unedited drive into the community of Treviso. Now, as we drive in there, we're kind of going uphill. You're going to start seeing the topography work itself out. But you're also going to see, again, more commercial signs, spaces for commercial being advertised. And that's, I believe, coming up, it's going to all be taken. You will not see too much of this empty space here on the right. But what I do want to point out, as we're headed down 1431 into the community of Treviso, I am driving as I'm doing this, so I want to be careful, but I am going to zoom in a little bit so you can start seeing the beginning aspect of seeing some of those homes that represent the Traviso community right over there on the right, as you see. So obviously it gets very beautiful here as well, because people love Austin for this reason, for hill country, and the topography here is great. But sometimes with topography and topographic living, maybe even living closer to the lake, is the absence of maybe some of the retail conveniences that you might want. Well, as I mentioned, and I shared with you an example, you can see the signage right over there. Again, more commercial space being solicited right over there. But as I've showed you with the Palmera Ridge community, as I showed you an example prior with the Bryson community, Traviso also, as a master plan community, have had this planned out for some time. And so now that the community is on some of its later phases of the build, if you looking at those signs up there, you're going to see a sign that says Shops at Traviso. There's one over there, Shops of Traviso. Now, that's essentially saying that we're going to have commercial up in front. There it is again, Shops of Traviso. And I'm actually going to pull into the community right over here on this light. Here we have the grand entrance for this community. And as we pull in and as we start making our climb up the hill, you will again see some areas that have been reserved with those signs stating that this is going to be future commercial. So again, they've already had a plan. The developers had already planned. They knew that once they started occupying these areas, there we go, Shops of Traviso. So it sounds to me like that's going to be a future major hub of retail, probably eatery, with again, in target audience, a target customer base, a target traffic base of those from that community. All right, we are back in the more central part of Leander. That's a Northline Leander station. Now this is essentially a train station. Essentially you park and ride station. It actually ends here in Leander, and this train actually will take you all the way to downtown. Now the term of it, it's named Northline, and that's also where the shopping area connects to the future development that I started this video on. And I believe that's probably where the name came from as well. But I don't see a train in the station right now, but this is a park and leave train station. And I like what it means. I do understand the importance of what it means. It's actually not as popular right now because obviously the city is growing, a lot of people relocating into here. But what this is showing is that this is going to be an area, as it gets more traffic and more individuals and more residents that live here, you have the ability to live here and take a train, avoid any form of traffic, all the way to downtown Austin, and that is a Northline Leander train station, and this is here, and I believe it's more than the popularity today of the popularity of it tomorrow as more residents file in. But again, it is right here in the heart of Leander. We have the Northline train station, and this was a draw for many people, many residents, and many of my clients that were looking for different value sets besides the future development and the draw of Leander. But knowing that this train station was here, they felt it to be a value, and I don't disagree. Look, with all the talk of new development, new commercial, new spaces being upheld with new retail, I do want to mention that there is always an old part of every city. I love the charm of any city when it had some of its original or older buildings. This is essentially a little bit of a sneak peek of old Leander. There's also an old Liberty Hill, probably none more beautiful than old Georgetown or the Georgetown Square. And so you'll see a lot of that in these expanding suburbs. You're going to see some of the nostalgia of the original or the older area, and they're going to definitely keep to the culture, the heritage, and the theme of that. And then you're going to see in different sections of the city, there are going to be newer developments. A great example of that, again, is Georgetown. Georgetown has this beautiful, very original Georgetown Square, and then across Interstate 35, you have this new Wolf Ranch shopping center. And so this is just a little bit of a sneak peek or a peek at old Leander with their food trucks right there. All right, this is right off of State Highway 29. This is going to be called 29 Gateway. It's essentially going to be about a 32-acre development. Here you're going to find a Black Rock Coffee. There's going to be a Verizon store, several different service-oriented. That circle represents where I'm filming from, just to give you an idea so you have the direction. And this is really important for a few reasons. One, remember I mentioned Ronald Reagan, 29, 183. Well, this is right on the corner of 29 and Ronald Reagan. The largest master plan community is just adjacent, which is Santa Rita Ranch. And it's important because across the street, you can see stuff over there. I'm going to give you a better angle of that. That was all trees and dirt when I moved here a little over 4 years ago. And now it is the largest HEB in all of Central Texas. And a lot of complementing different types of businesses. So this Gateway 29 is going to be so popular to really turn this cross section of Ronald Reagan and 29 into. All right, so here I am off of State Highway 29 on the diagonal on the opposite side of what I just shared with you as far as the future development of Gateway on that diagonally right side, which I'll share with you right now. But again, right here, I'm about 5 minutes from the largest master plan community, Santa Rita Ranch. And prior to this development on the left, they didn't have a shopping center or a grocery store anywhere nearby. Now here we go, the large HEB along with McDonald's. We have a Mod Pizza, we have a Torchy's Tacos, we have Jersey Mike's, we have Whataburger, we have two major banks here, Wingstop, AT&T, we see Chase right there. There's also Casa Garcia's. There's a Chili's out there as well. And I felt like I went through that too fast. It's the largest HEB you're going to find in Central Texas. So what I'm going to do is actually get across the street, turn around, and show you a different angle on the other side. Here we go. Again, we have that gas station. We have the HEB. There's multiple fitness spots there as well. So again, this was all, again, dirt when I moved here a little over 4 years ago. And now it's become such a massive retail hub. And 29 Gateway is going right across the street. So you can see what this is doing to this area. It's obviously offering conveniences that weren't there before. There we have How How, which is a new Vietnamese restaurant about to open up along with Boba. It's very impressive. And once this all comes together on every frontage of major road. All right, I'm going to continue down actually North Ronald Reagan. As I mentioned, this is headed towards the largest master plan community, which is Santa Rita Ranch, and it's continuing to expand. But you're going to see a lot of this as well. As we're on this road, you can see a lot of construction on the left. And essentially, here's what this is doing. This is going to be future opening of the roads. When you have this much new residents, they're going to have to widen the roads. So oftentimes, you'll see a lot of dirt. You'll see some construction being done, and it can certainly be somewhat disruptive. Certainly not pretty to look at, but it is a part of a pioneering area, is that we are having to widen the roads and develop that. So you'll see a lot of that as we near some of these major communities. All right, I wanted to give you this point. If you actually stop by one of my listings that has this view, and that road right there is the road that I was on. It's 183, and you can see other parts of Santa Rita Ranch. You can see that is Divine Savior Academy, which is a private school, along with some storage units. But if you continue up 183, you're going to come across a few different communities. One of them that you see on the left of Pockets of Homes, that is a community, master plan community called Nolina, multiple builders, hundreds of homes. And then when you follow Ronald Reagan, it's going to curve somewhat and go towards Georgetown. And that's also going to present to you 6.5 miles north here, Santa Rita Ranch, Palmer Ranch. Palmer Ranch is already getting a new HEB. So you have to imagine if there's master plan communities just a few miles ahead of us right there, and then a few more miles ahead of you, and they're selling out or they're beginning to take occupancy and people purchasing, all of that space in between on Ronald Reagan between those communities are going to be susceptible to more commercial development. All right, here we are back in the city of Leander. We are now off of 183A Frontage Road. It's a cross section or cross street of Crystal Falls Parkway, which I already showed you what was happening there earlier in this video. There you see Southside Market. It's already committed, which is an incredible barbecue spot. I'm so excited. Again, that major road frontage is always going to lead to opportunity. There's going to be a Estancia, the Brazilian steakhouse that's already committed to here. Evergrove is another business. There's rumor that Sprouts might be coming in here as well. There's a couple future announcements coming actually pretty soon. But take a look at the diagram of what to expect here for Crystal Village. And then already on the corner, there's a Quick Trip they put in. A Valero, Circle K is already there. A Culver's fast food spot is there as well. But this is ubiquitous. I hope I'm painting a picture. I hope I am emphasizing what is happening in and all throughout these areas. And Crystal Village is another example where the landscape is going to change of what you see on the drive. And this is going to be no different. So Crystal Village is going to be a major player in this section of Leander. All right, so the synergy of 183 and 29, there is a big empty area there. And what is happening there? Well, perhaps a jackpot of all types of retail. Costco has selected Williamson County and that Liberty Hill 29 location, as well as Target. Costco and Target has taken up State Highway 29 and 183. And here I am headed north on 183. Again, I'm adjacent to where the extension is going to end, but all of that open space right there that you see on the right, and I'm going to go ahead and make a right turn right here onto State Highway 29 just to give you an idea and a feel of just how monstrous this area is and how different it's going to look. I mean, it's been trees and dirt for some time, and as we just take a right here, you can also see a sign that says big box retail coming soon. And it's been rumored of what that was going to be, what that was. Well, now we have an answer. It is essentially going to be Target and Costco, and you can imagine every kind of complementing business that might come with it. Maybe a Sephora, maybe a Chipotle, maybe a movie theater. I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of things, right? So ultimately, that's a big deal. It's a big deal because these type of locations, there we go, big box retail. These type of businesses like a Target and a Costco, they spend immense amount of money doing due diligence. They do due diligence on growing areas, residents coming in, median income, what the impact is going to be once they commit to an area. And of all the places they can commit to in the nation and in Texas and different parts of even Austin, they chose Liberty Hill, little old Liberty Hill, corner of State Highway 29 and 183. I'm sure it coincides with the fact that the extension of 183 is right there, but all of what you see right here will be the future home site of Costco and Target. So what does that do for home values? What does that do for convenience of living? What does that do for the impact of an area? And again, just probably the jackpot of what it looks like for a growing and pioneering area. All right, so there you have it. I hope that's helpful. That took a great effort to be able to put together. And, you know, even though I focus on the North Austin expanding suburbs of Leander, of Liberty Hill and Georgetown, this is really a microcosm of what's happening all in and around the expanding suburbs of all of Austin. I mean, in the south, Kyle, Buda, San Marcos, in the southwest, even with, you know, Driftwood and Dripping Spring, in the west with Lakeway and beyond, and in the east with Manor, Bastrop, even parts of Pflugerville, Still, Hutto, Taylor, everywhere. Temple, Belton, Salado. And as you know, if you've seen, I'm everywhere. But I do want to put an emphasis on what's happening in the North Austin suburbs, of these expanding suburbs, because I feel like there's most interest, a lot of money, probably the most amount of people that are moving statistically in the nation is really being centralized here in Leander, Georgetown, and Liberty Hill. And truth be told, from the bottom of my heart, like, I needed this video 5 years ago, you know, and as someone who's been through it, this is very important for me to be able to relay this message. And what's happened here, even in the last 4 to 5 years, is absolutely astounding. I think a great example of an area that's maybe closer to the finished is going to be a great example of Cedar Park. Cedar Park at one time was this very undeveloped area, which was considered somewhat kind of the boonies. But now we know it's connected directly to North Austin. We have Cedar Park, and Cedar Park is currently filled out and continually be filled out with multiple businesses, really becoming the hub of the next, real hub when it comes to all things retail in every corner of that area. Now, I want to put a disclaimer out there because I do feel like I want to touch on this, but when we see this much development, many of us can have an opinion on, look, we wish the nature was kept. We wish there was more trees. We wish this wasn't developed. And I don't totally disagree with you. I'm simply reporting and giving you what I see in this area. But the truth is, now that I'm here and I've been here for as long as I have, I do have a heart for that as well. I don't mind seeing trees. I don't mind seeing the nature being kept. But I also know part of the necessary development when it comes to residential and this type of, expanding suburb of metropolitan living is that retail is a part of it, commercial is a part of it. And many of my clients that come from, let's say, parts of California, like Orange County or the Bay Area, people coming from the Pacific Northwest, like the cities of Seattle, and even suburbs of Washington, from Virginia, from DC, from New York, from New Jersey, Chicago, all these areas where you're so used to things already being there. And when you look at these suburbs and you may visit, you're like, well, where is everything? Well, look, you are like the individual that goes to a museum, has only seen finished paintings all the time. Well, look, we are looking at the middle of the artist, really in the middle of the painting being done. And it's actually really captivating. It's been really inspiring to see the industry here, and a lot of gratitude to the builders, to the developers, to really the boots on the ground and the physical labor that goes into developing these. And it's really a feat of humans to go out there and be able to create these. So that's been really inspiring. But also, as someone that is here and seeing it develop, you start to begin to take on a pride of ownership of this area. And you start to cheer on all these new businesses as things that are going to serve the community. So instead of just kind of being there, you get to see it develop. Then you get to be one of the first clients and customers. And it's all so exciting. I love to see businesses succeed. And I love the community being served with businesses that are needed as well. But I do want to end with this. Look, I've shown homes. You've seen the homes I've shown. I pretty much know where every home is in this entire area of Central Texas, right? Or I can find it for you. And I do believe what's inside the square footage of a home, in the air-conditioned space, the time that you're gonna spend with your family, the backyard, the floor plan, all of that, the bedroom count, all that's important. The lot size, home site, all of it, as you know, is my MO, and it's so important. But I also know, as someone that's done it, that's been through it, I know how important it is that lifestyle plays a part, and not just in a home. So whether that's your children's school, whether it's the places that you're gonna hang out, whether it's where do you go for a social life, where do you go for your kids to make friends, where are all the parents hanging out, where are the places to eat, where's all the coffee shops. This is a part of lifestyle, and it's something that I embrace wholeheartedly. So when I make a video like this, I want you to know that this is me as a realtor saying, I know that so much more is involved than just the home purchased, okay? So all that to say is, I can and am to be trusted in this space. I wanna not only find your home, but I want you to find your life here. And when I put videos like this together, it's because I want you to know that this is a big part of my heart. And I also know, as someone that's done it emotionally, physically, and financially, moving to a new area, and sometimes that culture shock is not always easy. But for me, it's something that I've embraced, and it's been such a blessing for myself and my family. So it's something that in my heart, I want to pass along to you. And this video is really a testament to be like, look, this is what's happening. This is what I want you to expect. This is what I want to share with you, so that when you look at a home here or in these areas, you're going to have a better understanding of what is developing. So here's my question to you, and it's really a logical question. Do you think home values are going to be less expensive or less before this development happens? or after the development happens. You know, I look at this video as somewhat of a time capsule now, right? When we look back in 5 years and people see, wow, there was that empty space that Soomin was recording, you know, that is now, you know, Costco, Target or whatnot, or here's Northline when it was empty. So again, the question is, do you think prices of homes will be higher or lower after the development, after everything is visually there, you know? And so we have a great example of that in the property values of Cedar Park. And so although I don't know the future, what I do know is when the conveniences of life, when as it pertains to retail being nearby to residential, there becomes a greater draw and there becomes a greater emphasis on that type of value when it includes that entirety of what you're purchasing. So all that to be said, as always, I'm gonna put my contact information right up there. I do make these videos to provide value, but to be straight up, I make these videos because I want you to know that I'm able to help you. I'm able to walk you through this entire process and ultimately getting the home that you need. So don't hesitate to reach out. Again, my phone number, my email is right there. You can find me on WhatsApp. You can find me on Instagram. And I am certainly here for you. And I love to be able to share my experience, but also be able to competently walk you through what you are going to experience. So with that being said, plenty of videos to come. Still gonna show incredible homes and give you examples of these communities, but this is an important one. So mark it, hopefully it gave you value, and I will see all of you on the next video. Let's go.